Look, I gotta just put this out there right now because my brain is literally spinning out of control with these new General Hospital spoilers, and honestly, it's stressing me out hella bad. You know when you read something and you're just like, wait, what? Yeah, that is me right now. So pull up a chair or whatever, because we need to talk about this massive, crazy car crash situation that is about to go down in Port Charles, and I mean massive. So here is the deal. The spoilers are teasing this totally wild scenario where Jordan and Curtis are in a car and suddenly, bam, they smash into a curb. But like, it's not just a little fender bender where you scratch your rims, no. The car is literally billowing smoke. Smoking bad. Which tells me right off the bat that the impact was gnarly. You don't just get heavy smoke from a little tap. And here is a little reality check for you all, a little educational nugget while we are analyzing this mess. When a car hits a stationary object, like a high curb at a high velocity, the kinetic energy doesn't just disappear. It transfers right into the frame of the vehicle. And if there is smoke, we are probably looking at a ruptured radiator where coolant is vaporizing on the hot engine block, or worse, oil lines got severed and oil is dripping onto the exhaust manifold. That is how car fires start, people. It's super dangerous. The engine compartment gets compromised and the whole thing can just go up in flames in a matter of minutes. So Jordan and Curtis are sitting in a ticking time bomb, basically. But wait, the plot gets way more crazy because apparently Carly and Valentine are right there too, in another car. Maybe they were driving in the same lane right behind them, or maybe coming from the opposite direction and saw the whole thing happen in real time. Can you imagine the sheer panic? You are just driving along, maybe listening to the radio, and suddenly the car ahead of you just violently swerves and smashes. If they were coming the opposite way, the visual must have been horrifying. And it makes me wonder about distracted driving. Like, was someone texting? Was there a deer? Port Charles weather is always doing the most. Maybe black ice? I don't know. But the fact that Carly and Valentine are there is no coincidence. They are witnesses, but they are also going to be thrust right into the middle of the trauma. Now, this is where my stomach actually drops, because the rumor mill is heavily hinting that Danny and Charlotte are also caught up in this, injured, both of them. How does that even happen unless, wait, hear me out. What if they were on a motorcycle or a scooter? Or maybe they were just in the wrong place at the absolute wrong time, like crossing the street. But the spoilers say they are victims involved in this specific crash. If Danny was driving a car, maybe he T-boned Jordan and Curtis, or if Danny and Charlotte were on a bike. Man, let me just pause to say teenagers and motorcycles give me massive anxiety. If you ever look at the statistics, the morbidity rate for adolescents in motor vehicle accidents is staggering. And when you introduce a motorcycle into the mix, there is no crumple zone. You know what a crumple zone is? It's the part of a car designed to absorb the force of an impact, so the passengers don't have to. On a motorcycle, your body is the crumple zone. It's basic physics. An object in motion stays in motion. If the bike stops suddenly because it hits Jordan's car, Danny and Charlotte keep moving forward at whatever speed they were traveling. They become projectiles. And that is terrifying. If Charlotte got thrown from a bike, the blunt force trauma to her head or internal organs, I can't even think about it. Always wear a helmet, y'all. And even then, defensive driving is the only way to survive these streets. So now we have at least 4 people busted up. Jordan, Curtis, Danny, and Charlotte. It's a full-blown mass casualty incident on the side of the road. And here comes Valentine. The spoilers say Valentine gets injured too. But not from the crash itself, from trying to rescue people. Valentine is Charlotte's dad. You better believe if he sees his daughter lying on the pavement or trapped near a burning vehicle, he is going to lose his absolute mind. The paternal instinct is wild. There is this thing in biology, right? The fight or flight response. When you see your kid in mortal danger, your amygdala in your brain just goes into overdrive. It dumps massive amounts of adrenaline and epinephrine into your bloodstream. Your pupils dilate, your heart rate skyrockets, blood shunts away from your digestive system and goes straight to your muscles. People have literally lifted cars off trapped children because of this hysterical strength. So Valentin is probably running into the danger, totally disregarding his own safety. He might be trying to pull Charlotte away from the wreckage. Or what if Charlotte is okay for a second, but Jordan and Curtis are trapped inside the smoking car? The doors might be jammed, the frame gets warped in high-speed crashes, and the doors literally lock you in. Valentin might be desperately trying to pry the doors open, smashing glass with his bare hands, tearing up his arms, getting burned by the hot metal or the chemical smoke, inhaling toxic fumes from burning plastic and upholstery, which by the way can cause severe chemical pneumonitis. Your lungs can literally blister from the inside out if you breathe in burning car fumes. So Valentin is putting his life on the line, Lil Lin, as they say, totally reckless, but in a heroic way. He is risking everything to save these people. The news of this whole disaster is going to spread through town like wildfire. You know how fast rumors fly. Suddenly, the hospital is on full alert. They are rushing everyone to the ER. Ambulances screaming down the streets, paramedics doing chest compressions, starting IV lines, slapping neck braces on everyone to prevent spinal cord injuries. When a hospital gets multiple trauma victims at once, they do something called triage. It's a French word that means to sort, and it is brutal. The doctors have to quickly look at everyone and assign them a colour. Green for minor injuries, yellow for serious but stable, red for critical, life-threatening injuries that need immediate surgery, and black. Black is for the ones who are dead or so far gone that no amount of medical intervention can save them and they can't waste resources on them when others can be saved. It's the hardest decision a doctor has to make. Someone is getting rushed straight to the OR. The spoilers say the doctor announces someone has to have emergency surgery. Who is it gonna be? Is it Jordan, Curtis, Charlotte, or Danny? It's totally chaotic. I am trying to piece this together and my mind is jumping all over the place. If it's Jordan, maybe she took the brunt of the impact against the steering wheel. If the airbag didn't deploy right, she could have a crushed sternum or a ruptured spleen. If it's Curtis, he was in the passenger seat. A lot of times they call that the death seat because drivers have an instinctive reflex to turn the car away from themselves right before a crash, exposing the passenger side to the maximum force of the impact. Curtis could be fighting for his life with massive internal bleeding, or Charlotte. So, like I said, if she was thrown from a bike, she could have a severe traumatic brain injury, epidural hematoma or something, where the blood pools inside the skull and crushes the brain tissue. Or Danny. Danny was the one steering the bike or the other car. But here is the part that is making me legitimately sad. Like, sick to my stomach sad. The leak, the big rumor, is that one of these actors and one of these characters is out. Done. Over. Finito. After this crash, someone is not making it out of that hospital alive. And it's not a fake out. It's not a recast where they bring in a new actor with a different face and pretend they had plastic surgery. No, the character is going to die permanently. Think about the gravity of that. Let's analyze the possibilities here, because one of them is going to flatline on that operating table. What if Jordan dies on the table? The surgeon comes out, shaking his head, taking off his bloody gloves. We tried everything we could. The injuries were just too severe. Hypovolemic shock. That is what happens when you lose more than 20% of your body's blood supply. Your heart literally can't pump enough blood to keep your organs working, and they just shut down one by one. Kidneys first, then liver, then the brain. If Jordan dies, the police department, her family, everyone is going to be devastated. It changes the whole landscape of the show. Or what if Curtis doesn't make it? He gets rushed into surgery. Maybe they think he is stable, but then he crashes. We need a crash cart. Charge to 200. Clear. But his heart just won't restart. Losing Curtis would be a massive blow. The ripple effect on Port Charles would be insane. But God, what if it's one of the kids? If Charlotte dies, Valentine might actually lose his mind. He already risked his life, got injured trying to save her or the others. If he did all that and she still dies, that is a villain origin story right there. Grief does terrible things to the human psyche. There are 5 stages of grief: denial, anger, bargaining, depression, acceptance. Valentine would just get permanently stuck in anger. He would burn the whole town down. And if Danny dies, Danny was driving. If he caused the accident and then pays for it with his life, the guilt that his family is going to carry will be unbearable. It's just so crazy to me that the writers are willing to pull the trigger on a permanent death right now. We get so attached to these characters, we watch them every single day. They feel like folks we know, and to just have them snuffed out in a random traffic accident. But I guess that is the biggest educational lesson of all here. Life is incredibly fragile. You can be driving to the grocery store, or arguing with your ex, or just living your normal everyday life. And in a fraction of a second, because of one bad turn, one patch of ice, one distracted moment, it's all over. So somebody is leaving. The actor is packing up their dressing room, turning in their script binder, and walking off the studio lot for the last time. It's hella depressing. I keep rereading the spoilers, hoping I missed the loophole. Like maybe they just go into a coma? But no, the wording is sus, but it feels very final. An actor and character eliminated after this crash. No replacements. Dead forever. Who do y'all think it is? My gut says. I don't even know. My gut is a mess right now. Jordan feels like a prime candidate for a tragic, heroic end. But Charlotte, the dramatic potential of her dying and unleashing Valentine's dark side is almost too good for the writers to pass up. And the whole time, Carly is just standing there, watching it all. She is going to have PTSD from this, for sure. Seeing people, mangled in a car wreck, smelling the burning rubber and the iron scent of blood in the air. It's going to be a heavy, heavy week of episodes. I'm going to need to stock up on tissues and probably some anxiety meds, honestly. This is why I always tell my friends to drive safe. Put the phone down, keep your eyes on the road, because you never know who is coming around the corner, and you never know when a simple drive is going to turn into a nightmare that changes a dozen lives forever. Man, RIP to whoever is checking out of General Hospital. This one is gonna hurt.